What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to the channel. So we're jumping right into the update details for the month, for the mid-month, excuse me, and let's see what we got. So Madeline Pryor, we know she's getting a tier 4. We know that Mystique is also getting a tier 4, and we know they've given us no way to earn in any capacity a new way to earn tier 4 materials, which is terrible, because that means that within a month now we've basically been thrown 2 support T4s and then 1 PvP DPS tier 4, which is ridiculous, right? So in the latest patch, meet the mutants who have transformed into a genius of transformation and the embodiment of rage. Mystique, with her new uniform and tier 4 advancement, will skillfully accomplish missions, blah blah blah. And then the mutant clone filled with hatred and anger has also received tier 4. Agents, check out the skills. So first up is going to be obviously the one that most importantly is going to be Mystique. Like I said to you guys before, I'm gonna pop this off the screen real quick. We can go inside the teams here, and then I can look at Mystique here. So this is the previous uniform that we had for Mystique. Overall, I showed you guys with inside the team in the previous videos. My impressions about this update was that if you looked at the team inside of here and you were essentially looking at Mystique, who's a supervillain female, we can leave just the all species because it gets even more centric down. You basically end up with I hate when BlueStacks does that. BlueStacks, gotta love it. It becomes a really short list of characters essentially inside here who are vying for that speed T4 position, basically, for the supervillains. You can see here is a character list of 6, and of these 6 people, likely none of these characters are people we're going to see in any time of any relevance. And if you take it down to just mutant females, it gets even worse. So it gets even worse because it's really just Mystique. That's it. So let's take a look at Mystique overall. We can take a look at comparatively what her skills are. So in the previous uniform, we can take a look at the uniform effect. What did I press this now? Oh my God, did Mystique not have a uniform? Why for some reason did I think that Mystique had a uniform? Okay, this is Mystique's first uniform. Oh my God, that is hard to believe. For all the looks that Mystique has had, why am I brain dumping right now? For all the looks that Mystique has had, it is hard to believe that this is Mystique's first uniform. For all the looks that she's had throughout the comic book runs, this is the first. Wow. Okay. That long since we've gotten a Mystique update? For real? Okay. Anyways, uniform effect. She's going to get an increased skill damage by 30%, an increased bonus damage by 35%, and then she gets decreased basic damage received by 30% on her as well. She's going to keep that perfect deception, passive on her skill, and she just gets an uptick of 5% for the superhero faction, so it'll go to 50% instead of being at the 45, so very minuscule. The new skill is now going to be called Spinning Slider. Instead of bleed, we'll collect a stun and silence skill, basically for the stun for 3 seconds and a silence for 2 seconds as well, so it's not really a whole lot there. Her 2 skill basically is Deceptive Illusion. So this still applies to enemy. We keep the stun here, which is 3 seconds, but we gain burn and bleed. So that's interesting, right? Because it's burn and bleed. But then we get the interesting skill, which is applying to herself, which is Appearance Copy. So I'm very interested into how that skill works, because is it that we're just changing the look of Mystique? So is this just a gimmick skill, or are we changing to the copy of whatever it is and then gaining their skills as well? That's what I'm really interested to see when it comes up. Her 3rd skill, which was sitting in here. Oh, so the appearance copy we previously had. So we'll take a look at that skill right there. Let's see if we can. It was on the 3rd. I wasn't aware of that. So let's take a look at that. It's on the 3rd. She didn't appearance copy anything. Okay. Maybe I have to be inside of a boss or something for it to happen, but yeah, whatever. Okay. So anyways, I really don't play with Mystique that way. I've always just used Mystique for basically just the buff that she provides from her passive. I wonder if anybody else uses her outside of that for anything, but I don't know anybody that does, so it'll be interesting. All right, let's take a look here then and continue her skills. So third skill, she has she keeps the accumulation on that skill. That's nice. She keeps the burn as well. Instead of confusion, she has stun, and then she has decrease all basic defenses for a 50%. She gets super armor on a skill instead of barrier, which is probably better. Super armor and increase all basic defenses by 35. So the accumulation basically stays the same, and she loses the appearance copy on the third skill. So on the fourth skill, perfect copy, she gains paralysis, and she gets the decrease, stays there, but it goes up to 65%. She gets a nice recovery effect here for 20% of her HP, and a nice frenzy buff, which is already there. 45, it goes to 55 now. Okay, so that's a nice buff there. 1 and then 45. So basically all basic defense and attacks basically goes to 55 instead. On her fifth skill, applies to all enemies. The burn, bleeds. She gains burn, bleeds there. She gets the stun, which now is 2 seconds. She gains incapacitation, which removes the active buffs we know, and paralysis, which also ignores immunity. And then she gets the applies to self. She keeps the invincible, but she gets an increase all basic attacks by 60, 40, and 1. So we get a nice little rounded buff there. Now the problem that I have with this is, like, we can still see these are just kit optimizations. Like, yeah, we're increasing numbers and we're playing around with these, but these are just kit increases. Obviously there's going to be some difference inside the VFX and skills, but at some point we have to start questioning whether or not the uniforms is exactly what we're paying for in terms of the VFX divided by the skill updates to the characters. Like, we're packaging the two as if though they're together when they don't need to be exclusively together. Like, it just, I don't know. Alrighty, so Mystique's new tier 4 skill is essentially when the striker skill is used, increase chain hit damage by 30%. When attacking, she gains invincibility and increases dodge rate by 30 and all basic attack by 80%. So it's new. It's a new thing, but that type of shit, like, to be honest with you, kind of irks me, just because, like, the increased chain hit damage, right, for 30%, like, we used to just probably see that in like a uniform effect or something like that. So, like, you're splitting out things across there that just quite don't make sense to me, I guess, in some regard. Mystique is also gaining a new gaining her artifact, which basically gives her ignore target's dodge rate by 25%, an additional 0.5% of total instinct up to 200%, and an increase all basic attacks by 20%. So essentially what this pairs out to is Mystique is probably going to really look to be a PvE world boss type character and nothing more. I'm like, nothing about it is exceptionally screaming out PvP, but it could change depending on, like, how invincible she is, but I don't see anything inside here that looks like it. So I have to check out when the skill's actually happening inside the game, because we'll see. Now Madeline Pryor is also receiving her tier 4, and she's another one of those characters that's in that boat of, essentially, if you were to comparatively look at the character kit and, you know, blast type supervillain females, we can just leave it at that. She's got a short list in terms of there for competition, and if you make it blast type mutants, it's even shorter. So, like, there's not a lot of comparison. So unless we've got some things coming out, you know, the characters that they've released in the past couple of updates in terms of, like, Hope Summers, Madeline Pryor, and now Mystique, there wasn't a lot for them to achieve in terms of, like, the window. They are pretty much setting the bar if you were to look at it that way. So I don't really like the conversation with, like, these guys are meta. Of course they're meta, because they're meta for what they are, because there's nobody else to compete with them in that. Her new skill, let's take a look at this one. Increases all basic attacks by 100% and recovers HP equal to 10% of damage dealt, up to 10% of max HP at once. Well, this makes me happy for the fact that I dropped the CTP of Conquest on her, so if you look at the kit for her, for Madeline, I dropped a mighty CTP of Conquest on her, and you can see here that effect basically is sitting on the CTP of Conquest, right? So you know, the wall should decrease the damage received, but I don't, well, actually increases damage. Oh, damage dealt. Okay, of damage dealt. Okay, cool. I was like, wait, if I'm decreasing damage I'm receiving, am I getting that recovery? But basically finding ways to increase her HP recovery inside there to keep her alive, and then triggering on her artifact when you do get the artifact inside here, which gives her the immortal effect inside the game. So I think they said they changed some game error fixes and things like that, but nothing necessarily to write home about. It was basically they changed the epic quest story. Total havoc has been fixed, so instead of clear fabricated will 5 times, it has now been clear manipulated will 5 times. Like if you read it, it was just there. The name of Jean Grey in the hero bio section Marilyn Pryor has been fixed. That's about it. So those were some of the updates I want to go through really quickly, because they've added some events and stuff like that inside here. I don't think most players will care too much about these, but we do get a new 8-week celebration. And here goes the bad part about this, right? Is that it feels like they've spent a lot of less time on doing those things to the characters, and it doesn't feel like the work has been put into what we would like to see the player base in terms of rehashing some of the rewards that basically come at you on a weekly basis. Like for instance, looking at the list already, the 100 energy is nice. Like, you know, energy is obviously the big moneymaker inside the game. The biometrics are clearly a good thing. The gold is obviously as well. And I have to reflect that, you know, for new players, the level 5 XP chips and things like that are good as well. Especially if you're a brand new player. The problem that I have is how many brand new players do we have? So when you go down the list reward, receiving things like extreme obelisk, you know, dimension debris and things like these, they don't have the value that they once had, especially when you get Norn Stone selectors. Like these things have even less inherent value inside the game. Like think about it in this way with the Norn Stones. I don't need those in order for me to get to tier 3. I don't need them in order for me to get to tier 4, and you've reduced the requirements in tier 1 and tier 2 to hit those levels. So I don't really need those things. So their value just doesn't become weighted anymore to see those. Like getting dimension chest ESOs, I don't know, like maybe as a new player these are valuable rewards, but as a veteran player that's been in the game for a while, these rewards need refreshing. Nobody wants to see Norn Stones of Chaos. Like nobody wants to see those. Like, let's be honest, nobody wants to see those. I don't even think I want to see XP chips anymore, because I can go inside my list. I can't tell you the last time I had to actually use XP chips inside the game, because there's so many game modes for me to play that I'd rather just have the energy, you know what I mean? So it's there. We get the Sweet February event. So complete the daily missions to acquire a candy, a random gift, and clear the additional missions to acquire a special icon and tier 2 mega advancement ticket. So this is kind of nice. So we got Sweet February event inside here. Basically we're just going to participate. You complete all of the 5 daily missions, successfully craft, upgrade custom gear, enhance ESO 8, upgrade comic cards, and combine Urus. Those should be like things that you're normally doing on a daily basis anyways. And you'll get these random gifts on a day-to-day basis. Okay, let's see what the random crystals, you're not going to get them, let's be honest. Energy, this is nice. The gold's not bad. The boost points are really nice. The biometrics not bad. Clear ticket, like I guess out of all of these I would just remove the Norn Stones of Chaos and just move on from there. And so this is the event that we're basically getting to get the that we're going to get Luna Snow. So we clear dimension mission 300 times, participate in timeline battle 100 times, combine story fragments 10 times, and participate in otherworld battle 100 times. These are pretty easy missions to do. Like, I mean, on average, I think if you're like if you're purchasing the pack, you're probably clearing these at least 40 times a day, you know, for effective rewards. So this is going to run for roughly 2 weeks. So yeah, you should be able to knock that out without having to like just clear 300 missions. Like I pretty much run 40 missions a day. to get the top rewards, and then I stop because that's where the diminishing returns happen. And then clear world boss 50 times. So you, in order to do this, that means you got 10 days to basically do that. So out of a 14-day period, you can only miss 4 of those days probably. But that's not a bad one. And then you'll acquire the tier 2 mega advancement tickets. I've actually run out of tier 2 mega advancement tickets since they didn't offer a lot of new characters. I hadn't been digging into the monthly event shop to get tier 2s. And I do have some characters that I do need to tier 2, so it'll be good to get that. Madeline Pryor tier 4 booster relay pack is in the game, so this is only going to speak to the whale's pockets, definitely not to mine. But you can purchase all of the tier 4 materials that they have given us no way to increase in terms of earning inside of the game, meaning like at this point, with as many tier 4s as they release and have released inside this update, they should probably start looking to add maybe tier 4 content inside some of the game places. Like I would love to have seen inside that epic quest, especially with its up cost, maybe having like, you know, tier 3 or tier 4 materials available inside of that clear zone every day. X-Men update event, all uniforms are 40% off. The growth bonus mission is there for Mystique. I do like the uniform. The Hellfire Gala uniform looks cool. Can't wait to see how it looks in game. The update check-in special, these are actually good rewards in my opinion for your X genes and stuff like that, especially for some of the characters. I wonder, I don't think he's included in it though, unfortunately. But these are good rewards, except for the Imcron crystals and Phoenix. Well, I guess that's good rewards. Yeah, like this right here. Black antimatter and Nornstone Chaos. I don't need these Nornstones of Chaos. The black antimatter is cool to have, but I don't need the Nornstones of Chaos. I don't think many people need the Nornstones of Chaos. And that's me even trying to speak from thinking about a new player perspective. Energy bonus missions, like this is like your energy used. We're getting clear tickets, XP chips, hidden tickets, like a impregnable ESO. Like for real, guys, come on. A dimension chest ESO. Nornstones of Chaos for 200. For using 2000 energy, we're gonna get 150 Nornstones of Chaos. Like, okay, I can understand these rewards at 25 and 3000. This is just energy I'd be using in the course of the, you know, time. But like for real, guys, like come on, Nornstones, like give us some better rewards than these. There can be better rewards than those. Like, I just hate to say it. The artifact unequip cost 50% discount. Like, yeah, man, artifacts are pretty expensive to unequip. I don't exactly know why you would unequip artifact. Like, just doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I could see if you had maybe like a 4-star or a 5-star that you've been building out and got lucky and got a 6-star, then maybe like it's hard to say, right? Like you already have one. Do you really want to unequip it and pay that cost, that crystal cost? I doubt it. Like I wouldn't do it. The character ranking event for Mystique, and then we get the Crystal Hero 20% discount because Mystique is available into shop to new players, essentially for crystals. You can buy her so that way you can get Mystique's which as I think about it, that just makes this update even more expensive, because if you're a person that's new to the game, you're just coming, so you're one of those 30,000 downloads that happened in the last month or whatever, then essentially you didn't have Mystique, and your way of acquiring the character is basically going to be through these. This becomes a very expensive update, with the epic quest also costing you 7,700. So you had the Rachel Summers, which was 4,500. You had the epic quest, which was 7,700, and then they introduced the Mystique with the 2,000 or the 1,000 crystals, and then you also have the uniform that is needed for Mystique, which is going to be like another 1,000 crystals inside of there. So pretty expensive update. Crystal relay packs, they always offer these up inside of here. So, you know, if you need crystals, I always wait till Black Friday deals and stuff like that. That's usually the best time to purchase your crystals. But rarely is the case that there's uniforms and stuff like that that you need, absolutely must have crystals for or in hand, where you can't just save up for those. So it is what it is. Update hero 1 to 6 chance artifacts event is up. So if you are looking to get these, then you know now would be the time to make those pulls, and maybe you'll get a 6-star artifact for Mystique. Now, I mean, not Mystique, for Madeline Pryor, because that's where you should be going. But don't forget that in the event shop, the 4-star artifact for her will be available there. And if you're planning on getting Madeline Pryor to tier 4, you will need that artifact. So I would probably suggest rolling these if you've got the artifact chance up, the Quan for this, so that way you can hopefully get that, and then that way you can skedaddle out of the 4-star artifact. Obviously you're gonna want the 6-star if you're an aggressive PvP player. I'm not a really aggressive PvP player in this game, so it's not something I'm rolling for. And then we got the Mystique's Deception Chest. I typically like these Deception Chests. I've always given my thoughts on the value proposition of these, and I think that they're worth it. Like, that's just me being honest. I still would like to see them refresh these rewards inside of here, because a lot of them don't make any sense, especially when you're talking about getting comic cards inside of here. Like, I don't care even if you're a new player, right? If you're a new player, there's other ways of getting these comic cards. I just don't want to see them inside of here. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. Like, I'd rather have more availability of probability, of getting to Imkron, Phoenix Feathers, Gold, Titan Components, Cosmic Cube Fragments, and even the tier 2 Mega Advancement ticket without you doing, these comic cards to dwindle those chances. So it is what it is. So that's the update for the game. I think that's releasing tonight. Yeah, that's releasing tonight. Basically, it should be like a rolling update that we normally get in waves. So it says 1900 PST, so that'll equate to what is that, 7 o'clock Pacific's time, and that'll probably be like 10 o'clock Eastern time. So around that time, you'll start getting rollout updates, and the uniform will be available to you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, peace.